You're listening to Around Comics. 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 Comics.
You are listening to Around Comics, episode 415. I'm Brian Salazar.
Whew.
And with me, as always, is Christopher Niesman
Hello.
and Tom Caters.
Hey,
What's
how
happening?
are ya?
What's happening, fellas? What's going on? It's another Around Comics Day. Yay!
Yes.
Yes.
More comics.
More comic book talk.
They come out every week.
They did. They're relentless. They just keep
relentless.
coming out.
Can't
When are
stop
they going to
them.
be done? There's too many.
Whether you want to or not, they're there.
Yeah, I said, there's a pretty good week. There's some pretty good stuff came out.
There was a lot. There was a lot of comics.
Yeah, I'm probably halfway through reading what I want to for the week. And there's some good stuff, some weird stuff. So we'll get into it.
Weird stuff. Weird, wacky stuff. I can't do Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
Some would say I can't do any impressions, but wild.
Yeah.
But I keep trying.
Mhm.
I was watching a show. There's a show on Amazon, a new show called The Outlaws, and it's a BBC show, but it's on Amazon. And it's Stephen Merchant. You know who Stephen, that big, tall, really funny guy from Britain, real tall, blonde dude.
Co-created The
Glasses.
Office.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He created, he's in it, and it's basically about, it's kind of like, I don't know. Basically, the story is just about this group of people that are doing community service together, and they're very different people. It's him. He's like a lawyer, nerdy lawyer. There's like an influencer girl. There's, different people. But one of the people is Christopher Walken, is in the show, and he's awesome, and he plays like this sort of, old con man thief that just got released from prison and has to do community service to finish out his sentence. And he's great in it. He's just great. But
Nice.
I was telling my wife, I'm very sad that I've never really been able to do a Christopher Walken impression, and it's one of my failures in life that just haunts me.
Well, you can probably hear Sal and I talk about this and other shows weekly on ACTV if you're a patron. And find out about that and more at around patreon.com/Round Comics.
That's right. Exclusive content.
Yeah, I did watch the first 2 episodes of Minx, and you're correct. That is really good, and there was a lot of dick.
Yes.
It's the golden age of dick on TV.
It really is. It really is.
It is what it's the golden age of Killer Croc and
dick.
and male frontal.
It's the killer crocissance. That's what we're referring to it as.
But it's a really funny show. It's really well done show. It's really good.
Yep.
Just
very good.
in
stuff.
spite of all the penis
Yes.
that is in it, or for some, I'm sure.
For some, because of it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't. I would imagine, there are plenty of. It's weird for me to imagine anyone looking at male genitalia and enjoying looking at it. It just, it's just it's not an attractive looking thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I'm sure there are.
As one quote from the show, "Ooh, look, this one has a vein in it."
Yeah. Imagine you were the casting director of that. Well, we can talk about that on ECT.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on Sunday. All right. No, we're here.
This is about comics, not penis.
Yes, we are here to talk about comic books.
Isn't all comics are kind of about
cock?
There's a lot of
that was originally going to be the show title. Comics, not cock.
Yeah.
But we decided to
in
go
a way, all superhero stories.
I want to talk a little bit about it and just this subject in general. It's something that I want to talk about whenever the first issue came out. Second issue came out this week, and I haven't read it yet, but it looks beautiful, and that is the Cimmerian Hour
Conan?
of the Dragon.
I thought we talked about this already.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
We never. We
Oh.
actually didn't get to
I'm a-
talk about it, and so I just wanted to
How
bring it
much
up.
how much dong is in it? A lot of
I
dong.
I don't know. There's a giant gorilla on the cover, so you never know.
Gorilla Dog.
Gorilla
so
Dong.
it's the latest Conan comic, and it seems like, I mean, really, at one point you felt like every once in a while there would be a Conan comic that would come out, but it feels like Conan has pretty much been on the shelves almost nonstop for the last decade. Does it? I mean, does it feel like that now? That there's
Yeah,
just
I
been
don't
a
know.
lot of
Well,
people writing it.
Yeah, it seems like whenever it felt like something happened with the rights to it or something, and then all of a sudden there was just a lot of Conan. And Marvel got Conan, and they just went, I mean, they just started fucking publishing a lot of Conan books.
Yeah.
And I'm not that interested in Conan anymore.
And that's the thing.
He's got a tight fan base. Must be a group. There must be, right?
I love Conan, but I also feel like Conan is something that will always be available to read, and you can pretty much pick up any Conan story, and it's going to be a Conan story, right?
Now you say you love Conan, but
I love the idea of Conan.
But my question is, like, where did you? I mean, I'll be honest. I remember Conan magazine when I was younger, but I didn't give a fuck about Conan until Conan the Barbarian, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's when I started caring about
movies.
I could care less really about Conan. I read it a little bit. I did read the magazine, but it was never the movie. Like, it was never.
Yeah, it was the movie that led me to the comics,
right?
And and I've got a lot of Conan comics laying around the house, and
a lot of Conan. Do you?
I'm sure
I got one of my favorite original art pages is a Conan page.
Conan.
So, is it Conan or Conan?
I don't know. I always said Conan. Conan.
How did they say it in the movie?
Conan, I think.
Conan. Yeah.
Conan. What is best in life?
Conan.
It is
Conan.
Conan. Hey, Conan.
Hey, Conan.
It is see your enemies driven before you.
Hear the lamentations of the women.
Hear the lamentations of the women.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that word meant when he said it. What? Arnold Schwarzenegger's saying $5 words there. I don't even know what this guy's saying. How many takes did that? You got to give Arnold credit. Poor dude from Austria comes with a. Apparently, I didn't know this, but his father was a Nazi. Did you guys know that? Arnold's father was a Nazi? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I recently found that out.
Yeah, I was not aware of that.
I wasn't either. Another reason he couldn't be president, I guess.
I don't think that's actually in the Constitution, but it should be. No Nazis allowed. Yeah, I don't know. It's just we had mentioned it in passing, just kind of like what you think of Conan as a comics character. I mean, it's been around since the 60s in comic form, right?
I think it's at least. I mean, I don't really know
this
the history,
one is
but
by Ablaze Comics, by the way,
Ablaze.
and I think they're doing like actual Robert E. Howard stories.
So does someone own the rights? Is there different rights for Robert? Like, one of those
it might be public domain.
Might be public domain at this point. Yeah.
It might be one of those weird things where some of it's public domain, but then some of it, like certain characters, aren't.
Yeah, kind of like Superman. It's like you can write a Superman story, but it can't have Lois or Jimmy Olsen, and he can't fly. He can only, leave.
Yeah, or it's like, like Superboy belongs to Warner Brothers, but Superman belongs to,
So interestingly,
around law, copyright law.
The first comic book adaptation of a Howard Conan story was the feature La Reina de la Costa Negra, taken from the original Conan story Queen of the Black Coast, in the miniature-sized Mexican anthology title Cuentos de Abuelito, number 8, from 1952. So the first Conan adaptation was a Mexican comic, interestingly enough.
Yeah,
and then
Conan is a golden age of comics.
Yeah, and then
tail end
of that,
right in that weird post. in that weird post superhero,
Mhm.
post Golden Age in the gap when superheroes were not.
After the war, and nobody wanted to read about superheroes anymore. Right?
Yeah,
They
like
wanted to read
living in that
romance
space
comics.
where all the westerns and the
Mhm.
your barbarian comics. Is barbarian comics like a term that
I would
you
think so.
like-
It's a subgenre.
Yeah.
Barbarian
genre,
comics.
right? Like romance comics, barbarian
comics.
Mhm.
What you had Call the Conqueror
Call.
and
Yeah.
Conan, and that was it. Right? I don't know. Well, the Red Sonja.
Oh, then Marvel and DC,
Yeah.
each would have their own.
Right. And then
Barbarian.
the Marvel introduced in 1970.
Yeah.
So
Roy Thomas, right?
Yeah, Roy Thomas and Barry Windsor Smith, and then
Mhm.
John Buscema and Ernie Chan.
Yep. I've got a
Ernie Chua.
Chua or Ernie Chan, prolific inker, and I've got one that's a Buscema breakdowns with Ernie Chan inks, which basically Buscema's just literally just throwing layouts down, and Ernie Chan's probably more the artist on those.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be. Yeah, I look at Conan books like a little bit goes a long way for me at this point. It's like, oh, once in a while pick up Conan, and it's like, oh, that's a good little Conan story, and that's all I need for
it's kind of like Chicago deep dish pizza.
Yeah, once every 6-8 months, and you're good.
A slice, not even a whole pizza, just a slice.
Yeah, just give me one slice of that. Yeah, I mean, it's like if there's a really good artist, maybe like dip in there and like, okay,
yeah.
Like that's usually how I end up with a Conan book.
Yeah, Mahmoud,
the artist is rad. Like,
Mahmoud Ashrar was doing it for. Actually, I think doing it now, currently, is on the Marvel Conan book.
Is he?
I believe so.
If you search barbarian comic books, Conan's pretty much all of them. Adrian the Barbarian, it was a British comic book, I guess. Barack the Barbarian, Slain, Wolf, WULF, another UK book. A lot of UK, a lot more in the UK than here in the Santa.
They love it.
Santa the Barbarian.
Santa the Barbarian.
That was
wasn't there?
That was a Rob Liefeld written and drawn comic book from 1995.
That'll give us a good segue. Wasn't there one like Zor or something like that?
Joe the Barbarian, Gru the Wanderer. Can't forget about Gru the Wanderer.
Oh yeah,
probably the most influential of the comic book barbarians.
Cerebus.
Yeah,
Barbarian. Yeah, and then Conan. So they didn't even put Red Sonja on this list. Yeah. What the hell? Misogynists.
Is she a barbarian, I guess.
What else would that fuck? What would you call her?
Yeah.
If we're putting her into like a D&D class, yeah, probably.
Chris is like, women can't be barbarians.
Well, or she just a
barbarian.
Fighter. I don't know. It's
what's I swear a chainmail.
Like two weapon.
She too pretty?
I don't know.
She's too pretty to be a barbarian. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
There's a barbarian comics in somewhere. That's Maryland, Wheaton, Maryland. How about that? There you go. Go to Barbarian Comics. Check them out. Bing, there's a free plug. If you're in the Maryland area.
Conan comic at Barbarian Comics.
Right. Grognak, the Barbarian comic book magazine.
I wouldn't read that. I want to read that.
I don't know what that is.
That's a great name.
Grognak. Yeah. It's probably one of these boxes somewhere, but the first comic book I ever bought off of a wall, the first overpriced comic that I ever paid for, was Conan the Barbarian #1.
Nice.
And I still have it.
What's that go for these days?
I have no idea. Let's see. Well, here it is. Conan the Barbarian Comics Value and Price Guide. Number one. What is
you got it slabbed, right?
Shekels.
Yeah, if it's slabbed,
like say yours is what, like a 8.5 or something, probably.
I don't know.
If it's less than a 9.6, I literally light it on fire.
Well, a 9.6 is shit. I don't know. Let's see. A 9.8 is like $9,000.
Yeah.
Whoa.
for a 9.8.
How much did you pay for yours?
I think I paid $40 maybe when I bought it. This was many years ago.
Yeah.
I doubt that
love
it's
that
in.
cover. I love the cover. I
So a
mean,
9.2 is like $2,500.
yeah.
Mine's, I don't know what mine's shit. I have no idea. What it's probably in good shape. It's literally been in a like one of the hard plastic Mylar bags for 30 years probably, or 25 years.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna go to C2E2. You should go and have CGC grade it.
I'm just not a CGC believer.
Yeah.
Just not yeah, no. I'm just keep my comic in my comic book box.
There you go.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Now I need to know what it is.
I'm not getting it graded.
Yeah. You need to get this graded for Chris. He's
just so he
doesn't
just
mind
so-
that.
here, I'll do it for you because it's all fucking made up anyway. You know, like who? Oh, these experts are gonna grade my comic book. Fuck off.
9.5.
Yeah. What
Can you like appeal? Is there an appeal process? If you get, like,
you should be able to, right?
Yeah, it's like no, I
Yeah,
don't
like
like
an-
how you graded it. So yeah, so
is there like a third party arbitrator where
I'm
you
gonna
can be like,
resubmit this comic for review.
Yeah.
You know, again. Funny.
Yeah, arbitration. Yeah, it is baseball opening day today, right, boys? Opening day. We are
Cardinals are on track for 162-0.
I'm sure that'll happen. We are around comics and baseball. I mean, that's the subtitle of the podcast. But
Yeah. Sox play today?
no, Friday opening
so
at
they play
Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Open in Detroit.
Yeah. The Sox always open on the road. I don't remember the last time.
They should because it's Chicago, but open up in like Miami or Houston or what, whenever I see like Southern teams on the road to open the season,
Yeah,
it just
it's always
confuses
weird.
me. Yeah,
I'll talk to the schedule makers about it. I'll make sure
like, why is Anaheim opening at Target Field in Minneapolis? Shit like that.
Isn't it just a computer just spits that shit out anyway?
That's one of my favorite 30 for 30s.
It's one stressed out guy, just like,
It used to
I don't know. This is not working out.
It used to be a married couple. Check out it's ESPN's 30 for 30.
Oh, really? They have a 30 for 30 on the schedule?
Yeah.
That's
cool.
It's
called the Schedule Makers.
Oh, I'll watch that for sure. I bet it's those 30 for 30s are amazing.
Oh, it's really cool. And they talk about things like when Derek Jeter got his 3,000th hit or something. He did that in Tampa Bay. And they said it's like we would look at things like that and kind of move the schedule around to go, yeah, it's
might happen around this time. Yeah,
probable that because I think he was like 8 or something hits away, and like it's probable that it'll happen on this around here. So they would, they would put a home stretch in for shit like that. But the computers don't do that; they just completely randomize it. So
those bastards.
Yeah.
Bastard computers. Joe Galuzik says that Norwegian video game company Funcom announced it has fully acquired the rights to Conan the Barbarian. I don't know. Yeah, so there you go. Sword and sorcery is the genre. He claims, not barbarian.
No, I want
subgenre.
Subgenre.
Barbarian.
I think it's
Yeah.
subgenre.
For sure. I agree.
Something the blank the blank.
Blank the blank. Krognak, the brutal.
Barbarian.
The barbarian. Everything, yeah, they all pretty much ended in the barbarian.
The barbarian.
Because, why not? I think people would get fooled, right? Because it's like, wait, I want to read that book about that barbarian. What was his name? Was it Krognak? Was it Gru? Was it?
Yeah.
They don't remember Conan. They just remember the barbarian.
All we got is off-brand Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, sorry. We can't.
I got some Kroll for you.
We got Kragnock.
Kragnock. Did you guys ever read any
stepped on
Fafford and Gray Mauser books? The
no, I know what you're talking about though. I
don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's one of the first like sword and sorcery genre. I mean, it was long before D&D and all that stuff. those books. I don't even know. I can't think of the author's name, but I remember when I was like into Dungeons and Dragons a lot, and I was sort of reading tons of fantasy books. I'm like, oh, what is this? Is like before Dungeons and before the genre really kind of took off. And I started reading. I'm like, these are terrible books. I don't know why anyone. But the characters are classic in the sense that they're almost like a trope at this point, because you still see it throughout so many different storytelling things. But it's like the big guy, and then who's like the muscle, and then the sort of finesse guy. That was their thing. Like they were thieves, and it was like and you see it in so many different kind of even comedy and whatever else, like the big kind of loud guy, and then the sort of quieter finesse guy. But that's the Fafford and Grey Mouser, I think it was called. Fritz Lieber novels. Yes, thank you, Joe Galuzik. Joe's old enough to remember these.
We got Joe in the house. Who else did I see? Wayne is back. We haven't seen Wayne in a little while.
Yeah, the Around Comics crew, these wacky group.
This wacky group of misfits
and bits,
with nothing better to do on a Thursday night.
Better to do. Just all of us hanging together.
Us either.
Yeah, this is true.
Well, hey, you mentioned Rob Liefeld, written and drawn. Did you guys check out Deadpool Bad Blood?
No. I leafed through it and was like, nah, I'm really not interested in Rob Liefeld books anymore.
It's a Liefeld Deadpool book. I mean, he does some funny things. There's some panels and sight gags where who was the guy that did the Spider-Woman pose, Manera,
Frank Cho. Oh, something like that.
Was it Manera? He basically recreates that pose in this, and kind of references, just different like current comic wokeness a little bit. And I hate saying it that way, but yeah, he's but he's also makes fun of himself a little bit in this, so I enjoyed it. He makes jokes about feet.
I mean, he's got to do something. I have nothing against Liefeld. I'm just not a huge fan anymore of his work. But
there's a whole flashback to 90s X-Force, and it's Liefeld drawing 90s X-Force again. So it kind of gave you that nostalgia in a way that you have nostalgia for like bands in the 90s that you kind of liked then but don't like as much now.
I remember being so excited for X-Force.
Yeah, right,
for sure. I think I bought like 12 copies of #1. I probably still have 6 or 7 if I didn't give them away already.
Haven't those kind of gone up in price because of the damn cards in them?
Chris, I don't pay attention to how much comic
we've
books
talked
are worth.
about this.
I don't know what anything is worth. I have no idea.
Did you guys read Immortal X-Men?
I did.
I did read it. I liked it.
And it was good, right?
I didn't know they were immortal now. That's why I was like,
I didn't either. I did not know that they were immortal, that mutants were immortal. But I was like, you talked about it, Tom, at one point, like I was a little lost in the beginning, but I was like, whatever. I'm sure I'll figure it out as I go, right? Or it's not that important, that I don't
get into
know
the rhythm of an X book.
Yeah,
you're just like, I can't get too hung up. Like, they're gonna have a bunch of people. I don't know who they are. Just roll. Just roll with
reading
it.
Legion. It's like reading Legion.
I'm just glad the artist really took advantage of the ribbons on Mr. Sinister's costume.
Yes.
And really, did like a plume of ribbons behind him at all times. It was just like, yes, that's what you need to do to Mr. Sinister. He's kind of a ridiculous character, but they play him that way, which I think helps.
So I really enjoyed that one. I also read X-Men Red.
Oh,
yeah.
What was that about? I didn't read that.
It takes place on Mars.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So Krakoa has a an out branch on Mars. They terraformed Mars, and they put like this alien race that was on the run from somebody else. They put them there, and the book's about like Storm is in charge of. They call it Araco instead of Mars, right? So she's in charge of Mars. And like there's a bunch of intrigue going on, and Sunspot's trying to open a bar on Mars, and like Magneto's gone there to just like essentially go die. Like he just doesn't want to participate.
That's what he was talking about in Immortal X-Men. That's where he was going. He kept referencing Iraq. I was like, what is?
And he left the council, or
stepped down. From
so he's on Mars, and like. It was pretty good. It's I think Al Ewing did it.
Oh, yeah, one of my favorites.
Let me make sure that before I promise that. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I picked it up because he was writing it, and I was like, oh, I liked Immortal X-Men. Maybe I'll just like give this one a shot too and see what's up with it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I mean, like I said, I it's a weird thing having such a connection to so many X-Men characters that now are, like Professor X at this point has basically become almost like a villain. I mean, he's so they've kind of just turned him into this, I don't know, twisted version of kind of what he was. Actually, what he reminds me of now is much more like from Doom Patrol.
The Chief.
Yeah, that's what he's very much more along the lines of like he'll do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter what the cost, and he doesn't really. And he was never really that guy.
Yeah,
I don't know, or was he? Or maybe I just didn't see it when I was a kid as much.
They've always, I mean, even going back to the Claremont Byrne stuff, they played around with Charles not always being upfront about stuff, and but I mean, I guess it was Morrison that really kind of pushed Xavier to being really a manipulative
character.
I don't know if it was manipulative as much as it was like, I know best, and like that means I decide when you get to know stuff, or
well, to be fair, he's the most powerful telepath in the world. I mean, he does kind of know best. But evidently he does not, I guess. But
so I also enjoyed X-Men Red. You should take a look at it. I thought it was
I will.
good.
I'll check it out.
It's pretty funny.
It's pretty.
Yeah,
it is a pretty book.
I read something that I had never read, but came out a while ago, and they re-released it. So, Flashpoint Batman: Night of Vengeance, which is the Thomas Wayne, done by Azzarello and Rizzo. I never read it before, and so they re-released it as like a 72-page 3-issue thing. Or it's a single issue, but they just combined all 3 issues basically into one. And it was really interesting. And it's a setup for Jeff Johns and Rizzo doing now a Thomas Wayne story, where basically Thomas Wayne is going to fuck with time so that his, Bruce does, because Thomas Wayne is created because Bruce gets killed in front of him, and then Martha turns into the Joker.
Spoilers.
Yeah, whatever.
I love that reveal page, by the way.
Oh, I mean, it's Rizzo's so fucking good. But
what's wrong with you, Martha?
The only thing about it, though, I felt like they missed an opportunity in it, was the idea that because Thomas was so obsessed with finding the killer, that's why Martha kind of went insane, because he ignored her, and you know what I mean, she was really needed him, and after Bruce is killed, and he was so obsessed with vengeance that he didn't sort of support her, and that was part of her going crazy, turning into the Joker. And they really didn't do that. They didn't really push that angle very much, and I thought that was sort of a missed opportunity of like, I think that would have made it a little more interesting in the idea that Thomas is to blame for the Joker, for Martha becoming the Joker. But yeah, it's all a setup so he can fuck with time. in this new Flashpoint thing, but it's written by Johns with Rizzo on art, which I thought was interesting and weird, since the whole Flashpoint Batman thing was Azzarello, from the beginning. I mean, I remember reading an article even where Azzarello kind of makes a point of saying, yeah, the Flashpoint thing was John's idea, but the whole Batman Thomas Wayne thing was mine. And so it's kind of weird. Like, Johns now is doing it with Rizzo, which will be interesting to see someone else. I'm so used to seeing Azzarello and Rizzo together, but
also just like time travel. Now it's more time travel.
More time travel, more fucking with time, more Flashpoint stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I like the idea though of like, okay, he wants to do it. He has a reason. Like, I'm gonna do this so that I don't, my wife doesn't turn into the Joker and I don't turn into Batman and my son lives. That's what he's trying to accomplish, or at least that's what they intimate that he's trying to accomplish. So,
Sure.
But Rizzo, yeah, man, I kind of miss Azzarello and Rizzo doing stuff like this. Yeah, anything. I don't know if they've really done anything lately, but this I was funny because I was just talking about when they did that Batman story or run that I loved so much, and Killer Croc is in this as well at one point, and I love Rizzo's version of Killer Croc and all those characters. But yeah, it's really good. If you haven't read it before, it's actually, it's just one of those stories that I never had, for whatever reason. I didn't really, it was a part of a gigantic fucking crossover. I think there's like 60 issues in total in Flashpoint. I happen to read on the Wikipedia page, like, good Lord. No wonder I never fucking read it all. But I think the Thomas Wayne characters kind of become the most interesting, really the only character that kind of lasted from that, right? Is there any other, kind of, right? He's still around. He's still in now. He's in our universe and that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. It was really good. Really.
Yeah. I've got a Wayne casino poker chip around here somewhere.
Is that a Thomas Wayne casino then, right?
Yeah,
not
that was one of the comic shop giveaways, I think, through that. So yeah, I've got a poker chip around here somewhere.
Yeah. They're Azzarello and Rizzo are just really good together.
Did you guys read the second issue of Ghost Rider?
I did read it.
It was still good.
It was still good, but it did start to feel like more of a typical Ghost Rider
type book,
as opposed to the first issue that was like a straight up horror book. You know? But it did still it was still good.
It did still have those horror elements to it. And,
yeah.
I thought the art was a little weirdly uneven at times. Like sometimes it looked really great, and then sometimes it was kind of like, huh, okay,
not so great.
It's hard to think. I don't know. It was like hard to believe it was the same artist.
Maybe, yeah.
When I was looking at the pages, but yeah, it was cool. I still enjoy it quite a bit. I think that's the most Ghost Rider issues in a row I've read in a long time.
Yeah,
two.
It's like Conan.
You got me to read the second one, so that's a victory.
That's and you think it was good, so you're gonna probably read the third one.
Third one, yeah.
That's interesting. That's let's see. I'm trying.
Yeah, it's what was. I think we all have a series that you just kind of kept reading out of habit, even though you weren't really enjoying it. Or not in love with it.
Yeah,
it's kind of where I am with
most comics at some point.
Yeah,
I
really like the first arc in Moon Knight, and I'm just like, I'm reading it. I'm still reading it, and I'm just like, I don't know why I'm reading this anymore.
I don't know. Yeah, what am I doing?
I
was reading a comic yesterday, and I stopped halfway through, and I was like, man, I'm done.
I do that a lot more now than I ever used to. Just like, yeah, this isn't so good. This isn't really.
Not gonna do the next one.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's been chunks of Daredevil that I read that I was just like,
Yeah,
I guess
just
I'll
just
fucking
going through the
trudge.
motions.
Yeah, but then I did get to a point where I'm just like, I'm done. I'm done.
A lot
with
of
this.
a lot of Flash stories.
Yeah,
in
right.
The, I mean, there's some really good ones, but there's also, there's some weak points in there. It's like, okay.
It's hard to, well, going back to like Deadpool, I think like, I was a big Deadpool fan at one time, read a lot of the books, but then it was like, I don't know, you just kind of get enough of it. And then the movies came out and I loved the movies, but then I go and read the books and I go, well, these aren't the movies. This is now I remember why I stopped reading this. This is like
Like,
the movies are awesome. The book, it's okay. It's not as awesome as the,
There's like people I know that have read Amazing Spider-Man since the 70s. People
David Price is the
and will buy Amazing Spider-Man every issue, every month.
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
forever.
you've made a fairly large commitment.
Yeah,
got to keep it going, right? Got to keep.
Yeah.
I think I have decided one thing. I think I have decided that officially I'm ready to announce that Batman is, I think, my all-time favorite comic book character. I think I think I've finally come around to. I know it's a pop. Thank you, Tom. Yes, it was difficult. It was yeah. So it's really out there, right? It's
the
really...
anticipation was killing me on this after all these years.
Way, Batman.
I know. I kind of almost like reluctantly kind of like, I just can't deny it anymore. It's like
it's kind of like being a Yankees fan.
Well, I think for a long, exactly. I just like,
you've gotten to a point in your life where you're just like, you know what? I like Batman.
I'm sorry. I admit it.
That's just
I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed any longer. I like Batman.
Well, I think that DC sees that there's a lot of people like you, because there's probably at least 4 Batman books a week that come out. Are there at least 16?
I don't. There's a lot. There's a lot of Bat books. There's a lot. There's a lot. But that's part of why I love Batman so much, because I've realized I think he's one of the most like flexible characters. You can kind of tell any kind of story you want with Batman. You can, and you can't do that with every superhero, at least I don't think as well. But you can tell a mystery with Batman. You can tell a horror story with Batman. You can tell an action barbarian Batman. I mean, come on, you can do it. Time travel Batman.
He went to the future. I mean, granted, the last boy on Earth, Commandy, not a barbarian in the traditional sense,
but barbarian,
but still torn clothes, lots of
long hair.
Yeah, wastelands.
Possibly. Well, he's been in the Savage, or not? Isn't it the Savage Land? That's Marvel, right? Isn't there a Savage? There's a Savage Landish.
That's Kazar.
Oh, all right. Yeah. I don't know. I just think he's got the best rogues gallery.
You can do a martial arts comic.
They did a whole movie, a 70s fucking kung fu.
It was fantastic.
Exploitation.
Yeah, I'm a big Bronze Tiger fan now.
That's what I mean. He's the most versatile of characters.
Yeah,
I think. And
I think definitely rogues gallery. You gotta look. It's Batman or Spider-Man. I think is always the which one.
Nah, come on. Spider-Man's rogues are they're super comic booky, but they're fucking lame. Electro. Fucking
pretty good rogues gallery.
I don't think they're that interesting.
All right, let's go through the list. Pull it up.
Doc Ock.
Let's do it right now. We're having a
his name is Doc Ock. Right there.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's lame.
Anytime
that's like the 5th best, name.
Well,
Craven.
Right? Spider-Man has the Sinister Six, but when you get down to 6th, and you're like,
who's even in the 6th? Who is the 6th? It's been kind of a floating 6, hasn't it?
It's a rotating membership.
You're like Green Goblin. Yeah, obviously. Great villain.
He was so good that they made a second one. Hobgoblin.
They made a second one.
Yeah.
Vulture. Good. You creepy old man. Like,
But he's
Cool
creepy old
costume.
man.
Yeah. I mean, already we're kind of like
We're getting
Rhino.
dude
Rhino.
Yeah. It's kind of stupid. One note.
Sandman, great Sandman, which always looks awesome and it's cool, but you know,
He's just a dude made of sand. How
Well,
scary
and
is
then there's
that?
always the unintentional Sandman Hydro Man team up,
yeah.
which made Mudman.
I mean, I think this exercise right here, where we're just like, I don't know.
I mean,
I'm trying to
let's go with
full
Batman.
list.
You got right off the bat, the Joker, better than maybe the greatest comic book villain of all time.
Yeah.
Possibly, probably, right? Probably,
probably.
Joker. But
Killer
then after
Croc.
that, you got Killer Croc. You got
Number 2.
Penguin. Fucking
Penguin.
Penguin's iconic.
Two-Face, Catwoman.
I mean, come on. The Riddler, even the Riddler just
Riddler,
did. They just did a whole movie
But
with the
you
Riddler.
also have the Pharaoh. Wasn't that?
Listen, everybody's got some
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that, but you know,
Is it? Who's the?
Yeah,
the
well,
gangster- what's
we
the
haven't even
gangster-
gotten
the gangster.
we haven't gotten to
puppet?
Ra's al Ghul.
Oh.
We haven't gotten
this
to
is true.
we haven't gotten to like
Scarecrow.
Clayface.
Scarecrow,
Yeah, like that.
Clayface.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Bane.
It's not even close. Here
Bane,
we
yeah.
go. Here's some of the winners in Spider-Man's. Chameleon,
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
lame.
Cool costume. All right.
Doc Ock, Sandman, Lizard. Dude is just a lizard. Wow, scary.
Yeah.
Uh,
Cool looking though. with
cool
the lab
looking.
Yeah.
Mysterio's super
Yeah.
cool, but
Yeah.
you know, Scorpion,
Mm.
Shocker is one of my all-time favorites. I'll give him
Shocker?
Shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always liked Shocker.
I think
Uh,
Shocker was in the first Spider-Man comic I ever bought.
Yeah,
It
Peter
just
Parker
always
was
sticks
in-
in my head because I was like, huh, Shocker. Like, okay. I didn't know
Kingpin,
Kingpin.
but I consider Kingpin a Daredevil villain at this
Yeah, I
point.
mean,
Not
it's-
even,
yeah.
not even.
Well, let's
really.
just give Spider-Man the benefit of the doubt. and
Okay,
Just give him Spider-Man. He's still,
Kingpin. Yeah.
yeah.
Here's some lesser known ones: Tinkerer, the Living Brain, Big Man, a notorious
Oh.
crime lord, Big Man,
There's gonna
Crime
be a lot.
Master, Molten Man, Robot Master, the Finisher.
No, none of these. You're just making names up now.
No, I'm not. Man Mountain Marco.
The mouse
You remember?
trap.
You remember Mountain Marco?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Prowler.
Mousetrap.
Hey,
Mouse
I went to Prowler, Tarantula.
Seeker.
You remember Tarantula?
I do like that. Was actually one of my. I have that comic, Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man #1 with the tarantula on the cover. I still have that.
That's a great cover.
I'm just gonna make up some Heat Seeker.
That might- oh, Hammerhead! I forgot about Hammerhead.
Oh yeah.
Will o' the Wisp.
Tombstone. Tombstone's a cool villain.
Tombstone's pretty cool. Once again, kind of a Ghost Rider villain at this point, and a Daredevil villain.
Yeah.
Screwball, Overdrive, Pandamania, a giant panda themed supervillain.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't even need to talk about this. I
think we figured this out. I mean, you got shit. Harley Quinn is a Batman villain. She's, Joker and Harley Quinn right there. You got nobody comes close. Yeah. Mad Hatter, even his D-list guys.
What's
Poison Ivy.
All right, so two
Mr.
questions.
Freeze,
Who's the ventriloquist, the gangster
Oh,
dummy?
the dummy.
the ventriloquist.
Is that the okay? And then,
Scarface is the dummy's name.
Dummy.
But
Yeah.
the-
okay, now
yeah.
the guy that has like all the scars, Zazaz. How the
Oh,
Zaz.
Zaz.
Yeah,
Just
Victor
Zaz.
Zaz.
Okay,
I think it's just Zaz.
just
I don't know
Zaz.
that it's Zaz, but yeah, Victor Zaz. He was great in the Gotham TV show.
Mhm.
He was the dude from Barry. Did you guys watch Barry?
Mm-hmm.
The
I love
what-
Barry.
oh, Barry's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that to come back.
Bill
But-
Hader.
Bill Hader
Yeah.
show. Yeah,
Oh, is he the
And-
he's the
Yeah.
Russian or whatever.
NoHo Hank?
Is that his name? I can't remember.
Yeah,
He's-
the funny,
the really
funny one.
hilarious
Yeah, yes.
bro, yeah,
Yes.
that guy, that
Yeah.
he plays Victor Zaz a creepy, weird take on Victor Zsasz in the Gotham TV show.
I mean, there's some good Batman ones we haven't talked about.
Yes.
We haven't talked about Deadshot.
Yeah, right? Deadshot's fucking badass.
Badass. Professor Hugo Strange. That's a pretty good one. Man-Bat.
Man-Bat's like more like a Spider-Man villain. That, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Sal on this.
He's like D-list Batman villain.
Right,
He'd
but
be like in the Sinister Six if he was.
Exactly. Exactly. He'd be up there with Electro and Doc Ock and Man-Bat. That sounds like just about right. He'd be an A-lister if he was on Spider-Man's. I don't know. I don't even know why anybody likes Spider-Man anymore, other than the movies. The movies are great.
Movies are good.
The movies are good. We got Anarchy 1 and 2 and 3. There has been 3 Anarchies.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Calendar Man.
Calendar Man.
Fucking
Kite Man.
Hell yeah.
Did you hear that Kite Man is getting a spin-off show on HBO Max?
Of course he is. He's a fucking superstar. Come on.
Yeah.
So
go try and buy the first appearance of Kite Man now.
KG Beast. We haven't even mentioned KG Beast. Come on, one of the great names.
I'm sorry I started.
Yeah, come on. It's not even close. Batman's the best. This is why I've decided. Yeah,
but on the Marvel side of stuff, I think is Spider-Man. Is that probably the most iconic rogues gallery?
Yeah, probably. I mean, who else even has a rogues gallery? I mean, Iron Man's got a few.
Hulk has a rogues gallery.
Yeah, the leader and
Abomination.
They're all gamma. They're all gamma beasts.
Yep, they're all
gamma radiated. Captain America.
He's got a good one. You get into Red Skull, Serpent Society,
the leap Baytrock the Leaper. Yeah, they kind of fall off a cliff. Sidewinder. You got all those snake.
It's very Spider-Man-esque. Where all of a sudden you're like, list your top 5 Captain America villains, and you get to like 4, and you're like, I guess.
Well, you got Red Skull. Yeah. Red Skull's number 1.
Zemo.
Yeah, of course.
Zemo, Red Skull, MODOK,
Arnim Zola.
Yeah, all the Nazi ones are pretty, pretty good. All the World War II ones. But after that, I think, anything in the Bronze Age, I think it was just sort of like, we'll Baytrock the Leaper. We'll give him a French dude who kicks a lot, And,
Yeah, and didn't Nuke? Didn't he end up being more of a Cap villain than Daredevil?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he was in a big arc for Cap. Daredevil, he just ended up.
Was that Brubaker's run?
The Cap?
Yeah.
No, that was before that. The original
with Nuke.
Yeah, with Nuke.
Okay.
It was that same time frame when he was in Born Again. When Nuke was, and then I can't remember what came first. I can't remember off the top of my head. Somebody on the forum, maybe on the comments. Joe, do you remember? But it was, I think it was around that same time. And then there was like a pretty big arc of Nuke and his drug addiction thing with Cap.
Yeah.
And then
Joe wanted to make sure not to forget about Ox, Montana, and Fancy Dan.
Spidey's greatest foes. Yes. I think that says it right there. I think that, Ox. I always did kind of like Ox though.
Yeah.
I don't know why. The Flash Rogues. They're pretty awesome.
Loving that book.
Yeah, that Rogues book's pretty good.
You like that first issue? We talked about that a little bit last week, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got me in the middle of a drink. Yes.
Yes.
Well, I got one that I read this week that I kind of liked. Did you all read Alice Ever After?
I started to, but I didn't finish it. I didn't. Tell me what you thought about it.
It's beautiful. It's first of all, it's Dan Panosian writing, and he's illustrating with Giorgio Spalletta. I hope I didn't butcher that too bad. It's a really pretty book.
Fine Irish lad, Giorgio Spinetta.
Spalletta. It's Boom Studios, and yeah, it's a Alice from Alice in Wonderland story, but it's Alice is it's like Alice in Wonderland meets Euphoria. You know, Alice is now in her young 20s, is kind of a drug addict.
Well, I mean, she did take a lot of pills. She was a bit
Yeah.
of a pill popper, you know,
Yeah.
back in the day. So
Yeah.
I guess she just kept doing that, right? As she got
Yeah,
older.
so it kind of felt like the Queen's Gambit, but I don't know what Alice is good at or what makes her special, other than she's kind of a drug addict. So
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my problem with it. It was just sort of like, okay, I get that, you know, you're making that sort of connection between the original story of Alice in Wonderland and like psychedelic drug use, that kind of thing. But that connection was made 60 years ago. You know what I mean? So I don't see what kind of, you know, the point is of that.
yeah,
Which is why I didn't end up finishing it.
yeah, but very pretty.
Very pretty sometimes.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't know if I care if anything happens to Alice, because she's kind of a, you know, a ditzy deadbeat. So
Well, sometimes I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's the point. I don't. You know, to sort of take down Alice, take down a classic literary figure. That's always I don't know. To me, like I said, it was just sort of I feel like we've seen this enough already. It's not really an interesting new take on Alice in Wonderland.
we've seen enough new takes on Alice in Wonderland that
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
that it better
geez.
be really, really good and really,
yes,
really
yeah.
different.
Not that it was terrible or anything. Like
Yeah.
you said, it looked great and
Yeah.
and it was well done. I wasn't that interested in it personally.
Yeah.
But Panosian's awesome as an artist for sure.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah.
I did.
So-
I read one that I kind of liked too, which was Spider Punk, which is an alternate universe Spider-Man. Hobby something or another is his name.
I love how you just spent the last 25 minutes tearing down Spider-Man, and your next pick
Well,
is a Spidey book.
but it's the only reason I even picked it up, because it was like, oh, Spider Punk, okay, a punk rock Spider-Man. I'll check that out.
Mhm.
I mean, to be fair, we were ragging on comparing his rogues to
Batman.
Batman's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I think Sal did say the
of
words,
course,
"Why does anyone read Spider-Man?"
read Spider-Man
anymore?"
these days.
Well, and I stand by that after reading this book.
Because it's not good.
It was okay. No, it wasn't bad. It was written by Cody Ziegler and art by Justin Mason. I really like the art in it. I thought it fit the book a lot. It's the idea, I guess, is on this alternate world, whatever the hell, Earth 138 or something like that. I think it's 138, which would make sense. We are 138, the Misfits. And it's very punk rocky. It has a lot of punk rock, Easter eggs, and everything is sort of punk rock themed in some ways. And it's sort of gang, the cities are, Craven the Hunter has kind of like a bunch of shirtless, mohawked punk, kids that kind of work for him, and Spider-Man's a punk. It kind of worked in some ways, and then in some ways it didn't. Some of the characters were interesting. There's a Captain America character that's Captain Anarchy instead of Captain America, which I thought was kind of interesting. And then Riri is the Iron Woman in this, although she's called something else. I liked it. It was cute. It was kind of a gimmicky thing. I don't think it was something that I would read, on a continuous basis, but it was kind of clever. I mean, ultimately, it felt like this weird, like so Spider-Man and his little group, Captain Anarchy and Iron, whatever the heck they called her, were fighting against gentrification, which I thought was kind of an odd thing, you know, just sort of like, okay, I guess that's cool. That's what it felt like the Blink 182 of punk comic books. You know what I mean? It's like if
that says a lot.
Yeah, not that I didn't hate Blink 182, but it's like
Yeah.
it's not Iggy and the Stooges. This is this is not Iggy. This is
kind of
not
like Green Day's fourth record.
Yeah, you know, it's like okay, it's you call it punk, but punk has definitely been dead since 1971. So yeah, it's it was all right. It was fine. It had a cool kind of punk rock Misfits themed Taskmaster at the end who had a devil lock and on a skull face. So I did enjoy that. I mean, I as a punk fan, there were
You're not immune to all of its charms.
No, not at all, not at all. But yeah, I don't know how many legs. I don't know how long
That's
it's going.
Fine. You know, just give me 22 pages of interesting story. And
I thought you were gonna say give me like 20 issues of Spider-Man.
No. It's just, everything doesn't have to be, you know, amazing or terrible. So sometimes it's like, yeah, I liked a lot of it.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. It looked really cool. I liked, you know, it was funny in some ways. You know, I don't know, fighting against supposed Nazi punks. One group of punks fighting another group of punks about gentrification in the neighborhood seems kind of bizarre.
It's
like an odd, yeah. But yeah, it was all right. It wasn't great, but it was all right.
Tom, it's now been 2 months and 2 issues that we have not talked about One Star Squadron.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So some explosive
I feel
events.
Wow. At the end of an episode, I feel like we could talk about this for a long time. This book's gotten surprisingly emotionally deep.
It has.
Where it's like, oh man, this one might be cutting a little too close to the bone for all of us having to live through late stage capitalism in reality. And like I you know, Mark Russell always writes a really funny comic, but it's also him and Steve Lieber sort of made a very like shockingly like emotional story. You know, like at the end of 5, it's like the character has been kind of treated as a joke the whole time, and you feel like terrible for him, like legitimately terrible. Like, you know, who could imagine that I would ever care that much about Minuteman or have any sort of like actual emotional attachment to that character? It's I would not have predicted it.
No, not at all. And at the end of this issue, you're like, oh wow, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love Red. I love Red Tornado, and Power Girl has been interesting, being kind of a bitchy ladder climber at work.
You know what it is that it's a book that is obviously very cynical, but it also has like moments of genuine like earnestness to it, you know, of like Power Girl like saving those people from the fire, you know, and sort of being like, well, no, actually you're still just a hero, and like all this other stuff around it. So I think that's part of like the sort of interesting thing they've done is like take this very cynical look, you know, with a GI robot talking about how mankind is jealous of him, but GI robot is going nowhere. He will but also mixed with sort of like, but also sort of mixed with like, oh, it's sort of a little bit deep dive into like being a hero and like, you know, like what does that mean? Which I was not expecting.
Yeah. Well, I love that, you know, we have that scene with Red Tornado where he's getting ready to go in and stand up to the board of directors, and he's like, well, you know, they're probably going to fire me, and he has that moment of hesitation. It's like, no, my daughter needs braces next year. I don't know if I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
which is not usually the thought bubble that you see above a hero before they go into a situation.
But then later, you know, he is a hero, you know, in a way that you don't maybe necessarily would think of as a superhero. And that's sort of like that moment where he's like, this is the only person I could save right now. So I'm going to say, you know, so I'm going to save him, which, you know, I was like, oh, that's a pretty interesting. Yeah. That's a pretty cool moment in there.
Poignant. Yeah. For a jokey book, it really does play around with the idea of what is a hero kind of over and over again.
This is a kind of book or story, you know, that could easily slide into, you know, just kind of, I don't want to say fluff, but just tiresome. You know what I mean? Like it could easily just become this thing of like, okay, you're kind of, you know, shitting on superheroes to some degree, shitting on, you know, like you said, capitalism, which is easy enough to do, and everything else. But then, like you said, it sort of elevates all that by having these moments where, you know, these characters are thoughtful and caring and stressed out about real sort of things. And yeah, it's, you know, I think it's a pretty impressive feat. And you see it more and more, you know, in shows. I see it in a lot of TV shows. Like I was just talking about that show on Amazon, that Outlaws, where it's on the surface is very much this sort of, you know, sitcom-y kind of show. There's a premise, you know, there's a situation, and they, you know, these 5 people or 6 people that are in this situation together, and they're very different people, and so a lot of sort of comedic stuff comes out of that. But then they, you know, they elevate it a bit by having, you know, real problems and real issues, and they're all kind of fucked up people in different ways, and that comes out in a lot of bad ways when they're dealing with other human beings. And I think that's, you know, it's a really fine line to walk sometimes when you're trying to be funny, and then also like putting these things in there where it's like, no, this is universally like, why do we treat each other the way we treat each other? You know, why do we act this way? What causes us to behave in shitty ways to other people? And I really have enjoyed that kind of writing and stuff, you know. Like I said, more TV shows than comics, I think. But this, you know, this is one of those comics that I feel like it does it well.
You know, we've seen the like DEF list heroes and villains with the comedic take of, you know, like the day in the life of, you know, like Kite Man or that kind of stuff. But I feel like this book has put a twist on that idea and we've not seen it done like this, almost like an Office comedy. And and so that's what did we talk about earlier, that, you know, if you're gonna do that story, you know, find a way to do it in a new and interesting way. And, you know,
the Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, so it's what Alice, you know, Nevermore or whatever it was called. I don't feel like it did that. Where One Star Squadron is kind of crushing the way of telling an older idea in a new way.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, Wayne is saying, you know, it's a darker take on like the Bwahaha era of Justice League, you know, or, you know, Justice League International or Justice League Europe, that, you know, those books which were very funny. And it's interesting, you know, at the same time you have Tom King doing with that cast of characters something really dark.
Yeah.
And
completely different. Yeah.
And completely different in Human Target. But yeah, is Mark Russell British? Does anyone know?
No idea.
I have no idea either. It wouldn't surprise me if he was.
He is.
Don't think so? Okay. Maybe not. I don't know.
His Twitter account is very much gives off American vibes.
But I'm eating red meat.
Lots of American flags and eagles. It's just
I eat steaks and watch UFC.
That's mine.
I don't know. I like him. It's good. And Lieber's amazing.
Yeah, Lieber's awesome. Russell is just like, I don't know that there's a better, anybody's doing comedy better in comics right now than him. Not that many people are doing comedy, period.
Yeah.
But man, he just fucking nails it. He just seems to have a real knack for that sarcastic, sardonic, wit, but also, like I said, just there's a heart to it. There's a, there's cynicism, but there's also, as Wayne said, a heart at the center of it. And it very much reminds me of a lot of British comedies now. Whether it's The Office. The Office was the same thing. The Office was all about, it was hysterically funny, putting you in these uncomfortable situations, people acting really badly.
Mm-hmm.
But all at the heart of it is like you fell in love with these characters because they were flawed beings trying to be better and failing a lot of the times at it, and it's shit. You don't see that in dramas enough, let alone comedies. It's hard to do.
I think comedy gets knocked down and not taken as seriously as it should, because you can tell really dramatic, heartfelt stories in a comedy.
You just got to be fucking funny.
You just got to do it and be fucking funny.
Yeah.
All right. On that note,
we're not.
On that note, we're done. We mentioned Patreon a little bit earlier. Please check that out. We have all sorts of bonus stuff and ad-free episodes and all. Anything else, Sal, on that? No, just go do it.
Just go check out patreon.com/aroundcomics. Please sign up, and there's stuff. There's stuff there.
Yeah, helps us not worry about having to pay to host and that kind of stuff. So we appreciate
keeping the lights on. Keeping the lights on.
Tom, you got anything going on?
I gotta go shoot a commercial tomorrow, but that's about it. But
fun.
I'll record a Tom versus one of these days.
That's
one of these
season.
Living on the edge.
One of these days.
So please reach out to the show. You can email us at info@aroundcomics.com. Remember that this here program is every Thursday at 8:00 ish Central Standard Time, so you can watch that live or listen to the audio podcast later. That's all I got, man. Oh, what's our trade talk?
I don't remember. What is our trade talk? You picked it, didn't you?
No, you gave us a choice.
Oh shit! It was me. I don't remember now. Oh yeah. It was the Once in Future, Volume 1.
Okay.
Once in Future.
Good.
Sorry,
because I forgot. So if it wasn't for Tom,
Once in Future.
Yeah, please write that. Once in Future, Volume 1.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you, Tom. I for some reason I had in my head that you picked something and I couldn't remember what it was.
No. All right. So
do I got to pick every month? What the fuck?
You kind of
just
twisted Tom's arm into, bounty hunters.
Chris, didn't you? I thought you gave us a choice of two, and we picked one.
I gave you a choice of two. It was Once in Future or Moon Knight.
Yeah,
and you guys picked Once in Future. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. So that's it. We will be back ACTV for the Patreons, and then next Thursday with an all-new episode of this here show. In the meantime,
in between time,
we'll be everywhere in
and around comics.
Moon Knight.